Emerging from Mirkwood Forest with an urgent message for Lady Galadriel, you must now make your way south along the Anduin River in order to reach the Forest of Lorien. As you leave the forest behind, you notice that you are being pursued and thus quicken your pace. Hello, welcome back to the Line Unbroken. A bit of a shock losing to a corset scenario, although I suppose the progression series also lost to the same scenario, though in rather different fashion. Well, it's slightly interesting. I mean, despite the fact that I sort of threw these decks together without putting a lot of thought into them, I have tested them against each of the core set scenarios, and indeed had a few failed recordings of these videos, and that's the first time I've actually lost any of them. So, let us try again. I've taken my mulligans with both decks. Got Stealthlight, got Snowborn Scout, chump blockers, potentially very useful. So let's reveal cards from the encounter deck. Each location, well, that does nothing at all, so it's very nice setup. And there are no exhausted characters, so that also does nothing. That's a much nicer setup than the one I had last time. So we flip over the quest card and go find a hill troll. Okay, don't want to speak too soon, but I feel much better about this start. So let us control N. Now, well, I want to save up for the Citadel plate. Could play a Snowborn Scout, even though there are no locations, just to be a chump blocker, but I think I'll not be slightly risky about it. On this side, I'll pay 1 for Henemath River Song, and that will be it. So, yes, given that I'm not that bothered about my leadership resources, so I will quest with Aragorn and then re-ready him. Quest with Eowyn. And I think I will leave it at that. 6. Since there's only one threat in the staging area this time, it seems a lot more reasonable than last time. Deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher, so that does nothing. Card 1. Card 2, Banks of the Anduin. I love this location, because if you just keep exploring it, then it just keeps going back on top of the encounter deck, and either it's a harmless shadow card, or the first card of the next staging is this again, which is pretty harmless. So, it's 2 threat in the staging area, so I make 4 progress. I feel no need to discard cards to Eowyn's ability. I'll travel to the banks of the Anduin. Deck 1 will engage the Hill Troll. Gets a shadow card. Oh, yeah, I was going to use Henemath River Song's ability to look at the top card of the encounter deck, which is this shadow card. So, okay, it's the other Hill Troll, which has no shadow effect and also means that I won't be facing that other Hill Troll. And actually, I think I could retcon things, and I could have used Strength of Will, exhausting Eleanor to put 2 progress straight onto Banks of the Anduin, but I don't think I really need to, so I might save it for a more significant location. What I will do however, at this point is exhaust Barivore, targeting deck 1 to draw 2 cards. Okay, Bjorn and my third Snowborn Scout. In any case, Gimli will defend against the Hill Troll. Shadow card has no effect. He takes 4 damage. Aragorn and Legolas will attack back for a total of 6 against 3 defense, dealing 3 damage. Discard this Shadow card and refresh. So, on this side, I think I'll pay 2 spirit resources to put Favourite Lady onto Eowyn. Actually, no. I'm going to exhaust Barivore to draw 2 cards. Okay. Gandalf wouldn't be enough to kill the... Well, I will spend 2 spirit resources to put Favourite Lady onto Eowyn. And that will be it. Meanwhile, on this side I will spend 1 leadership resource for a Snowborn Scout and put 1 progress on the banks of the Anduin. Then I will spend 4 tactics resources for Citadel Plate on Gimli. Now let us quest with... Well, technically it's this side first, so... Eowyn. Yes, well, of course this didn't work out so well last time. I think I will make it just Eowyn. I reveal the Gladden Fields and Wargs. Well, that slightly spoils things for me. No, wait, it doesn't have to. That's 5 threat versus my 4 willpower, which I should have been recording. Rather than discard a card to Eowyn, I'll pay 1 more resource for Radagast's Cunning to cancel the threat of the Wargs, so it's now 4 willpower against 3 threat. I suppose I could still discard something. In fact, I would want to still discard something. I will discard Hasty Stroke. So I'm at 5 willpower against 3 threat. I make 2 progress, which explores the banks of the Anduin. Before resolving questing, so technically I should take these off. After staging, I've done these in the action window, and also in that action window I am going to exhaust Haenamarth Riversong to look at the top card of the encounter deck. Defending character does not count its defense. That is important for me to know, though it doesn't actually change things too much. And now, I resolve questing, place progress. Banks of the Anduin are explored and put back on top of the encounter deck. Apparently that just went to the bottom of the encounter deck, which it should not have done. The bottom 1 card. That's better. Okay, now let's discard Radagast's Cunning. Travel to the Gladden Fields. Exhaust Eleanor for Strength of Will to place 2 progress. And deck 1 will optionally engage the Wargs. Shadow card for Hill Troll, which I happen to know is Banks of the Anduin, and shadow card for Wargs, which I happen to know is Despair, and has the shadow effect that the defending character does not count its defense. So, the Snowball Scout will defend against the Wargs. The Snowball Scout is killed. But that shadow card has a shadow effect, so the Wargs stay where they are. They do not return to the staging area. Aragorn will defend against the Hill Troll. No shadow effect. He, like Gimli before him, takes 4 damage. Now Gimli, because he has 4 damage on him, has attack of 6. Legolas has attack of 3. So they swing for a combined total of 9, which against 3 defense deals 6 damage to the Hill Troll. And it is killed and added to the victory display. I trigger Legolas' response to place 2 progress, adding Gladden Field to the victory display before it raises my threat. This shadow card is discarded. Now Control M. Draw the extra card here. Ah, on the Gondor. Nice. Would have been nice before the Snowball Scout died, obviously, but we take what we get. I suppose I already had one Gondor in my hand. So I only need to make 3 more progress, and I know that another Hill Troll won't be coming out because it was a shadow card earlier. Oh, Eowyn's willpower is 5. I should have 1 more progress because I was only counting it as 4. Let's see, I can either get the whole Gondor out or bring in a Gondorian Spearman. Let's have the Spearman. Having additional defenders is always nice. To over here, plenty of resources. I think I will not play anything from deck 2. So, I'll quest with Eowyn and Hennemoth for a total of 6. And we reveal. Now, I happen to remember this card, the effect that each location gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. That effect lasts until the end of the phase, as I recall. However, the second effect does nothing because neither deck has threat of 35 or higher. But I'll keep that there so I remember that if I reveal a location, it has +1 threat. So the Banks of the Anduin have 2 threat. Against my 6 willpower, I make 4 progress, which is more than I need. And I advance to the next quest stage. After defeating the troll, you are able to board the raft and embark upon the river voyage. As you depart, your enemies pursue, harassing the small vessel as you attempt to navigate the river. As your enemies harass the raft, it is difficult to maintain balance and effectively fight them off. So reveal one additional card from the encounter deck each quest phase. Make no engagement checks, but we can still optionally engage. I will travel to the banks of the Anduin. Now, do a shadow card. Let's see. Paravor will exhaust to have this deck draw 2 cards. Those are some nice cards to draw. Will I have Gimli defend? Just to make him even more of an attacking monster. Yeah, Gimli will defend. No shadow effect, but I'm glad not to see that card in staging. So 3 attack against 2 defense, 1 damage, and his attack is up to 7. And for attacking back, Legolas and the Gondorian Spearman are between them enough to kill the wargs. That will trigger Legolas's response. Place 2 progress on the banks of the Anduin. Control N. At this point, it kind of seems like I've got control of the game. The encounter deck is not messing with me enough to stop me. That could change since we reveal extra cards on this stage, but since there's currently nothing in the staging area, I can quest for a lot and try to just blow through this quickly. Now, let me just check, since I could play an airball and a smith. There are no attachments in anyone's discard piles, so I think I won't. What I will do is pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Gandalf, and I will trigger his ability to draw 3 cards. Okay. And on this side I will pay 1 for a Snowborn Scout, placing 1 progress on the banks of the Anduin, which is therefore explored and placed back on the top of the encounter deck. So I know that the first card of my 3-card staging this round is only 1 threat. I will also pay 1 tactics resource to put a Blade of Gondolin on Legolas, and another tactics resource to put the Horn of Gondor onto Paravor. Now let's quest. Let's see, I will send Gimli. I should be doing deck 2 first. So I'll send Eowyn, Hennemoth, Gandalf. Oh yeah, send Paravor. That's 5, 7, 8, 12. And Gimli makes a total of 14 willpower. So we reveal cards. Back to the Anduin, which I knew was coming. Evil Storm. This would affect deck 1, and it would kill Aragorn. I could just use Eleanor rather. I think I'm going to use Eleanor first. I'll discard this and replace it with Eastern Crows, which surge into the Necromancer's Pass. So that's 2 cards, and card number 3 is the Necromancer's Reach, and now I will use my Test of Will. Actually no, wait. It'll kill Hennemoth. No, I won't use my Test of Will. Aragorn isn't exhausted, and I don't mind damaging Gimli. just makes him more of a monster on attack. Henomoth dies, Gandalf takes the damage, which doesn't matter. Beravol gains a resource from the Horn of Gondor. That is gone. So, three, 4, 5 threat to my 14 willpower. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 progress. I will travel to the banks of the Anduin, and deck 1 will optionally engage the Eastern Crows. Deal with a shadow card. I will defend with the Snowborn Scout. Of course, the Gondorian Spearman could insta-kill them by defending because he deals 1 damage, but I want Legolas to get the kill because he will make progress by doing so. So the Snowborn Scout will defend. Shadow card has no effect, so he actually lives. The archetypal chump blocker lives. Legolas will attack, easily killing the crows, triggering his response and the response on the Blade of Gondolin to put 3 progress onto the banks of the Anduin, which are then placed back on top of the encounter deck. At the end of the round, Gandalf leaves play. Beravol gains a resource, and Aragorn will spend 1 leadership resource for... Actually, no. I want this deck to draw cards from Valiant Sacrifice when it eventually goes off. This deck has enough cards right now, so I will not use Valiant Sacrifice. Deck 1 is not wanting to be a team player here. Okay. That's fine. I'm going to exhaust Beravol to draw 2 cards over here. Okay, I will spend 1 leadership resource for another Snowborn Scout and place 1 progress on the Necromancer's Pass. Then I will save up my remaining resources in order to hopefully afford Gandalf next round and drop my threat. Deck 2, on the other hand. Do I have any attachments in my discard pile yet? Nope. Well, I think I'm going to bring in 1 Hammersmith anyway, even though I can't use his response. I want to save up for this Northern Tracker, but I will spend 1 Spirit Resource to use Stand Fight, and actually... I was going to bring back Henomoth, but actually now I come to think of it, no. I'll use that Stand Fight to bring back this Snowborn Scout, triggering his response when he enters play to place 1 progress on the Necromancer's Pass, which is explored. There's now no threat in the staging area. So, questing. I will send Gimli, Eowyn, just Gimli and Eowyn. So that's 7 willpower. Actually no, I will send Aragorn. That's 9 willpower. We reveal the banks of the Anduin, which I knew were coming. Messing at night. I'd rather not. I have 2 copies of a Test of Will, so I will use one on that. So that's 2 cards. And the third card. Each enemy in location gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. That's fine. So it's a total of 2 threat against my 9 willpower. I make 7 progress, which is exactly enough to advance me to the next quest stage. The ongoing harassment from your enemies has forced your raft to the shore, and you must now confront their ambush head-on. If you survive this attack, the path to the Golden Wood should be open before you. Reveal 2 encounter cards per player and add them to the staging area, but skip staging for the rest of the game. So, the Brown Lands. The Wolf Rider, which surges into a Goblin Sniper. So those are the 2 cards for deck 1 and for deck 2, Gladden Fields, and Misty Mountain Goblins. Not a lot of enemies, which is unusual. So, at this juncture, I will choose to travel to the Brown Lands, and its forced effect immediately places 1 progress on it, and it is explored. Now into the encounter phase. Since there are other enemies in the staging area, we cannot optionally engage the Goblin Sniper, so he'll just have to sit there. Deck 2 will optionally engage the Wolf Rider, and then the Misty Mountain Goblins will come down to deck 1. I'm about to win the game. So, let's have a Snowborn Scout defend. Shadow effect does nothing. Snowborn Scout dies. The forced effect would go off and remove a progress token from the quest, but there are none. And just for the hell of it, I will pay 1 for Valiant Sacrifice and draw 2 cards. Over here, again, Snowborn Scout will defend. Attacking enemy gets +1 attack. Doesn't really matter, he was going to die anyway. For attacking back, Legolas, since the Blade of Gondolin adds 1 to his attack against orcs, he's enough to kill the Misty Mountain Goblins by himself, and he can place 2 irrelevant progress on the quest stage. And over here, the Hammersmith and Eleanor combine for 2 attack against 0 defense to do 2 damage to the Wolf Rider, which is slain. The Goblin Sniper is in the staging area at the end of the combat phase, and as such, each player must deal 1 point of damage to 1 character he controls. So I'll kill another Snowborn Scout and put 1 damage on this Erebor Hammersmith. Control N. Deck 2 can do whatever it likes. Let's play Glare-Wine. Exhaust Bearable to draw 2 cards. Exhaust Glare-Wine to draw another card. Play Hennemoth Riversong. None of this matters, incidentally. Put an Unexpected Courage on Gimli. Why not play Will of the West and shuffle my discard pile back into my deck? The thing is, none of this matters because deck 1 will pay 5 resources for Gandalf and do 4 damage to the Goblin Sniper in the staging area, thus killing it. There are no enemies in play, and thus I have won the game. With a score of 124. Riding a bit high on damage on heroes, You notice that I stopped questing with Aragorn for, well, I think maybe only for one round, but I did because I had no means of healing him, and the Necromancer's Reach could have killed him. That was much nicer than the last time. I had an incredibly nice setup, which meant that it was actually fairly trivial to gain control. I mean, it's certainly an aspect, of course, of, if we look at the encounter deck, 21 cards left in it, 22 in the discard pile, 2 in the staging area, and 2 in the victory display. So that's a total of 47 cards in the encounter deck, which can lead to a somewhat inconsistent experience, which kind of accounts for my differing experiences between the two playthroughs that I have recorded. But yeah, I mean, I didn't, even with a more well-balanced encounter draw, although, you know, there's tough stuff to deal with, like the Hill Troll, there are the tools to handle the Hill Troll in the core set, less so with the physical core set, which only has 1 or 2 copies of some of the important cards. But the tools are there. Things like Citadel Plate, just making sure that you have a hasty stroke to cancel any attack boosting shadow effects, or restart the game if one comes up, because this is right at the start of the game. Of course, the more standard approach is to just make sure you start below 30 threat, but you don't have to. You can manage with things like Citadel Plate Feint, although obviously I only drew that quite late on. Gandalf, of course, is always useful. There are a lot of powerful cards in the core set which do allow you to deal with all these things. So, we have made our way along the Anduin and can get that message to Lady Galadriel. So once we've done so, we will of course be moving on to the third scenario of the core set, Escape from Dol Guldur, in the next video, which I hope you will watch. Goodbye.